about overall achievement. 2 Ivy League-trained engineers observed this struggle and created a way to transform how students learn the fundamentals of math. Through the innovative Accoletics math program, EDA has helped more than 400,000 students achieve success on state-administered math tests and transformed the academic strategies and performance of schools nationwide. Accoletics' uniquely designed supplemental materials and tools are well aligned to your state standards and provide a clear path to exceed state proficiency standards. Through ongoing professional development, you will uncover common challenges and activate solutions that promise to improve student achievement in your school. By partnering with EDA and choosing Accoletics, you can start to see an unprecedented return on your investment in as little as 1 school year. Don't procrastinate on giving your teachers the tools to help students achieve their highest math potential. To learn how you can dramatically improve classroom instruction and learning, test scores, and student confidence, call, email, or visit Accoletics online today.
Lord, no sound, babe. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead. Take 2. Hello, everybody.
Hey, y'all. So sorry. Welcome to the first
Welcome to the show.
Allison and Marc podcast of the new year, 2024. So happy that you are here. We were just talking about the different streaming platforms and how everybody's talking about this Katt Williams interview. So just talking about how I think freeing it must be to really be able to just go ahead and like
keep it real.
Speak your whole mind 100% on everything. But in our jobs, we can't really do that. So this podcast is a way for me to express some of that creativity. One thing that I want to do this season on our podcast is some hidden history, African-American hidden history, because I'm very passionate about history. I love American history. I love African-American history. And there's so many things that today, perfect example. And I'm going to be doing this as a little segment. I don't know what it's going to look like, but maybe figures you haven't heard of, places like Seneca Village. What's that? Well, now when you visit Manhattan, that's a part of Central Park that used to be an African-American settlement, a community that was taken to have a green space that's now Central Park. Wow. Right in Central Park, right here in our area. If you go shopping up in what's that area like? I think it's like the Chevy Chase up Wisconsin Avenue. Beautiful area, right? Part of that used to be a Black community taken, eminent domain or whatever. Closer to home, we're in Montgomery County, and so in Potomac, Maryland, there's this church. It's a historic AME church, Scotland. I think it's Zion AME. Anyway, just learned today during the 60s, because when you see it now, it's a very unassuming building. It's on, I think that's 7 Locks Road, if you're familiar with that area, Potomac, Maryland. So when you think Potomac, you think this sort of affluent. It's a diverse area, but it's very predominantly white, right?
And rich.
And so then you see this quaint little church on the side of the road. This is Zion AME, right? Found out today that during the 60s, this was the epicenter of the civil rights movement in Montgomery County.
Wow.
Right? This church in recent years has been vandalized. I'm sure by high school students. I'm not thinking it's anything super nefarious, but vandalized. It's been a flood. It's all this, but it's on the Maryland Historic Registry. And little places like that, because that's my passion. So I can't really talk about how I really feel about some of these things, but I can talk around it and talk about some of the injustices that we can all agree on, right? So that's some of the things I'm interested in doing this season. Yeah. Along with fun, of course, we're going to talk about
Ask
trending
Allison,
stuff and all that.
Ask Allison what's trending. I'll do my on the
some
mark.
Little family hacks.
On the mark, I'll do the on mark thing with the health and that health journey. And
how's your journey? Juicing going?
Good. Juicing day 10.
Ooh,
10.
Lord.
Juicy January is on and popping.
Juicy January.
And it's it's great.
What's up, Cynthia?
Yeah, what's up, everybody who's checking
Princess,
in? Yeah. Salah Williams, aka Bootsy Vegas.
Bootsy.
Bootsy's doing great work in the community, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to Alice, babe. Look, Alice says all is well in the Low Country. Alice checking in.
Oh my God. Can we share some Low Country lore just about everything? So there was a woman in, I believe it was Hilton Head. Correct me if I'm wrong, and Alice, if you know, who really fought for land that was either her family's land or it's a plow. She just died the other day. She was, I think, 100. I wish I had her name, but things like that. We go down to Hilton Head every year, but I'm fully aware of the fact that that land was a settlement given to the formerly enslaved by Abraham Lincoln after the Civil War. He just said, okay, just take the land. We're out. And then they realized, oh,
hey,
it's beautiful out here. It's a whole beach out here in Hilton Head. And now when you go, it's all these resorts, and you wouldn't even know the history that was there, except if you looked for it. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, Alice.
That's what I'm trying
to do.
Alice,
we need you to tell us the actual, okay, babe, this year we got to get it right. We know the information, but Alice may know the shortcut. Alice, the rice and beans or peas used in South Carolina, in the Low Country, where do you get them? Is there a place online or a store that you get your favorite?
Now, when you go down, you get it at Piggly Wiggly or a Kroger or
okay, well, Alice, I'm just saying, Alice, you need to give us the hookup, because every year it's hard to find the field peas or whatever peas we're looking for.
The red
the cow peas.
The cow peas.
Is it cow or cowl?
Cow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I was saying about Mike's run on about the podcast
Katt
world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Katt Williams story is everywhere. And that was on Club Shay Shay's podcast, Shannon Sharp's podcast. I was saying that we've been dabbling in the streaming world for years. And it feels like, to me, the big takeaway, aside from that podcast, at this point, I think it's up to 40 million views. They have 40 million views. Is that crazy?
Right.
The big takeaway for me is the streaming for African Americans, grown-ups, is now arrived. I think the kids,
it was slow.
The
it
kids
was slow
were there,
first, right?
But I think so. Now I think we have to continue to do our radio show, which we've kind of been slacking on, and then our podcast. And in fact, and also podcasting versus our traditional platform. This happened today at work. We have a gentleman on our show in Baltimore that comes on and he dogs out, to me, everybody every week, every Wednesday.
Like
right?
Katt Williams.
Right. And so, but like
Okay.
you said, he's an older gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, when you're on a platform, you play fair. You
fair.
don't go there. Podcasts, people go there. In real life, you don't really go there. So the motivation to just tear down one side of the aisle every Wednesday, black man in your 70s, I'm looking at you a certain way. Mm-hmm. But I was like, number one, I'm not gonna have a conversation because it could go north or south, wherever the term is. Mm-hmm. And then number two, when he wrapped up, I knew I was in the studio. I'm not in the studio. When he got done, he goes, I hate to be so mean, but I got grandkids. And he kind of walked out. Yeah. And it was like, I just was like,
so he's getting paid.
Because now in a podcast world, you get challenged at every point. In our world, people come on.
Well, see, I think that's the difference. Okay. But in the podcast world, it's like space for everybody to, dry field peas. Okay. Miss Alice, where'd you get them from?
Miss Josephine Wright is her name.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to read
Look
it to you.
Look how pretty Lita's picture. Lita, look at that. Go ahead, Glamour.
Hey, Lita.
Hey, Lita.
What I like about the podcast world is that you find your lane and you're able to be in your lane. And so that's what we're trying to always narrow down. I see everything. Thank you for the information. I want to get it right. All the grocery stores, sell them or closing up shop. Hoppin' John. We need to talk. Actually, I did okay this year with the Hoppin' John. No, I didn't. It's not perfect, but I did okay.
Hoppin' Johns. Okay.
A pot of Hoppin' Johns. Okay. So let me get back to this woman because it's very important. Her story to me is I hear it all the time. It's repeated in my own family in Charleston, South Carolina, in Memphis, Tennessee. You don't have an ancestral home to go to. Ancestral home here because it has been bulldozed, it has been reappropriated, whatever. This woman, 94-year-old woman from Hilton Head, and I've been going to Hilton Head since I was a teenager with my parents, right? She made headlines with her legal battle to keep her family's ancestral land. Her name was Josephine Wright. May we remember her name and say her name. Died surrounded by family on January 7th. There's a GoFundMe page. I'll post it. I meant to post it on my Facebook page. But to be in that fight, because you're in a fight against systemic racism. Yeah. You're in a fight against developers. You're in a fight against society saying that what you had is not as valuable as what we're going to put on here or to have. And she did not back down. Period. And so people like that, those are my heroes because we fight these fights in different ways. We see our homegirl Taraji Henson out there fighting the fight, helping it make it better for actors on all kinds of sets, including The Color Purple.
And Monique.
And I was riding for Monique from day one.
Yes,
I didn't understand.
We were riding for Monique from day one.
I didn't understand why people weren't with her on
And then I
that.
took it personally. It was weird.
I didn't understand. Maybe she was just before her time with that.
People don't like the way she delivers a message sometimes.
God bless the people who stand up, even when it's uncomfortable, and say, no, this isn't right. Because ultimately it benefits everyone.
It takes a lot to do it. I mean, I haven't done it in some cases.
Hey, Angela.
I'm going to stop saying. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
This is one of yours.
Black Pearl. Yeah.
Go ahead and read it out loud.
Okay, so Angela is saying that we should look up the history of the Black Pearl, Atlantic Beach, South Carolina. It's where blacks could go and where Aretha Franklin, et cetera, would stay back in the day. They would have to practice in Atlantic Beach. Blacks could not stay in Myrtle Beach. We just built a home in Atlantic Beach. It's only 4 blocks, and we're trying to preserve this history. And that's what I'm talking about. And Angela, you know what? Let me tell you
Come on,
something.
babe. Share the family story.
We have 2 girls in college, and neither of them live on campus because the HBCUs are so popping that we don't have any dorms right now. But I'm gonna tell you something. If we had some money, we would be doing this too.
But babe, share your family story
but
about
we
the beach.
Don't.
Share your family story about the beach.
Which one?
It predates that Black Pearl Beach.
You're talking about the house there, the resort?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's all. Yeah. So my this story, I need to write it down and organize it. But we had property on it's not help me out. It's not Sullivan's Island, but it was
it's not
it's a Moosery Point. It's some other place down there. A big establishment, and now you can't find any pictures of it.
Give
it was
them the
like
names.
It doesn't exist in any of that. I'm gonna have it for you for next week when I'm ready with all of that. But that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. And so yeah, give us everything and let me do the research on it and present it here, because I just want everybody to know about it. It's just the injustices of it. And hey, look, let me tell you something. If everybody were on an equal playing field right now, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but no. When you go to these areas and you see a whole nother culture, we're not far, right off River Road. If you all travel, there's a Whole Foods before you get to the Beltway, River Road. That community right there used to be a Black community. This is in the Bethesda area. Yeah. But I guess I'm just so exhausted by the lack of compassion. Even the Black graveyards, there's a cemetery that's right here that was just asphalted over for whatever, but that's just one other thing, and I don't want to dwell on it, but I just hope to every week when we come on just give a little bit of that hidden history, because that's where my passion is, among other things, and that's just going to be one of the segments, and that's all I was trying to say. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to hop
Black
into
Beach.
the Katt Williams thing. That was one of them. Everybody's talked about any takeaways.
Well, no, here's the
thing.
thing.
To talk
well,
about
let's
Katt
not. My thing is this, because you are more in that comedian, entertainment, showbiz type of world. How do you think it's being received, and what do you think is the fallout for Katt? And does it matter?
Well,
is he so untouchable because he's not beholden to the establishment?
Yeah, I don't think there's any fallout. I think the only fallout is the uncomfortable nature of like the people who got hit. And I think if it were me, I would have left it alone, because it's almost like
if you were Katt,
if I'm Steve Harvey, so Katt Williams, his line of critiques, right?
Mm-hmm.
She said Steve Harvey had a fake hair piece and stole Mark Curry's show concept.
Why did he? Oh, because these people came on Club Shay Shay.
He came on Club Shay Shay first.
Okay.
He was responding and had done his research. Okay. He said also accused Steve Harvey of trying to take Bernie Mac's Ocean's slot.
Ocean's 11, the movie.
Yes.
Or whatever it is.
He accused said of stealing jokes.
I'm looking up Atlantic Beach.
He said Cedric wasn't entertaining, which he is, obviously. He said Ricky Smiley
said Cedric was not entertaining.
He said Cedric's the entertainer. He said he calls himself an entertainer, but he doesn't sing and he doesn't dance. Actually, Cedric does sing and dance. But did he lift that joke? Evidence shows maybe he did. Ricky Smiley, Money Micro, obviously. That's what I'm saying. I think Ricky was on. So you're on. It's like going on Tonight Show, and you tell your little story.
Yeah.
May or may not be true. Ought to be true, maybe halfway true. Now on a podcast, Katt came on and just blows up the spot, because on podcast you have to almost present the real deal. Give me the real deal is more interesting and more exciting than the little fake thing you used to give on the Tonight Show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think. That's why I had to give. You watched a little bit of it with me when Kirk Franklin was on Club Shay Shay. To me, he did it the right way. I'm a guy from the church, but I'm going to come on and lay it down on the altar and tell the truth. Mm-hmm. I have backslid. I have struggled. I wasn't always a choir boy. You know, my friend who got killed as a youth was the one that got me inspired because he was the one who was really paying attention to church and I wasn't. You know what? Porn addiction. Da. So now can't nobody say nothing. Can't nobody say nothing because you were your authentic self. You put it on the altar. I think Steve
they're still gonna say something.
Yeah, people still gonna say something.
They're still
but it's different. You know, it's different. And so, okay, and Katt. Okay, he called Earthquake, who he respects as a comedian, illiterate, and he said that's why he wasn't in movies. He was now Earthquake. Mm-hmm. Earthquake. Do they let people who are illiterate in the Air Force? Probably not. Okay. Right. Can you run a 4.240 Katt Williams? Mm-hmm. Probably not. But then they should show him at 52 running a 4.4.
Well, I don't think he should have said it if Earthquake was illiterate. Like what value?
But he did was what comedians do. You're a comedian, so you're going to say some outrageous stuff. You're going to add on to it and schmooze onto it. You know, and his tone and how he delivers things makes it sound more serious or less serious than it is. It makes people challenge. Katt Williams with a straight face to say, I never used drugs is almost hilarious.
He did use drugs?
I mean, I think the evidence, Your Honor, would probably show that Katt Williams probably. But again, we don't know.
Now, so here's how we come into 2020.
They don't come for us, Katt Williams.
2024. Two nobodies doing a podcast said so-and-so was
right.
drugs.
I never did drugs and tell her fat husband I didn't do drugs. Now, the podcast now has 89 million views.
Yeah.
And we now...
Okay, what's Boosie saying? Katt literally got 20 minutes worth of free promotion on Steve Harvey morning show.
Everywhere. He was just on Willie D's podcast, and Willie D asked him about a run-in with
Arlene said comedian. That he got more publicity. They weren't talking about any of them before. Yeah.
Now here's the part that hurt my heart though, because how people,
Arlene.
You know how the woke people be calling people out, like when you just watch them talking about Katt Williams when real stuff's going on. So they were talking about the January 6th thing, and I was like,
who was Katt and Shay Shay?
No. Someone else basically was saying this is all just a distraction.
Oh.
While y'all, black folks, while y'all talking about this, real issues are going on. Are you voting? Are you participating? Is your kid safe at school? What about gun? Like real issues. We're talking about this over here.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's not fair. I feel like we're talking about, hey, Nathaniel, we're talking about so much. There's so much stuff that's seriously going on in the world right now.
We're not going to open that box of worms.
No, but there's so many things that I just think it's unfair to say, we need to focus.
You can always say that.
Because we can always, if you don't want to hear it, we can always say it.
And let me tell you something. We are all living our lives. We all have bills. We all are figuring out how to pay for college tuitions.
Yes.
We all have 2 children in college and 1 in med school.
Yeah.
We all have husbands who don't have big paychecks. Okay.
Making a comeback. Yeah.
Now, Rochelle, he ain't making a. See, that's one thing that I think that people don't. If we don't really follow Katt Williams because he's off the radar, he ain't making a comeback now. He sells out shows all the time, and he sells out arenas. He's not selling out local things.
Well, I think that he was there clearing his name, right? Because that's how it started.
What he said, and also
he's making news. So.
And it is the start of his tour. It's the start of his tour.
You know who's really benefiting is Shannon Sharpe.
Shannon Sharpe is the Black Joe Rogan now.
Yeah.
And I think, and see, babe, you've kind of seen it a little bit. I think, a lot of people who don't follow Joe Rogan always say, why does this guy have all this? If you don't follow Joe Rogan, you say, well, who is Joe Rogan, right? For those who don't know who Joe Rogan is, he's had this huge success on podcasts, right? I think Shannon is tapping into almost that kind of combination that even Joe Rogan has, where if you're not known, it's hard to get traction. That's why everybody who's not known is outrageous, Yeah. But if you're like our regular podcast, 2 married people in media talking about normal stuff, we're not going to have billions of people, right? We're going to have a loyal following, which we always had. So I think Shannon is tapping into that Joe Rogan thing. And I think one of the pieces of the formula, much like Joe Rogan, is not a superstar, but a guy that people know, like someone that you know. You knew him as an athlete, and he's been on TV long enough. Even if you don't know him as an athlete, like you don't necessarily know him as an athlete, you kind of know his name because he's been on TV long enough.
Right.
So you're famous enough where people know you in general. Then when celebrities come on your show, and they want to come on your show because they watched you as a young person, and that's young all the way down, you have that leverage that like regular people like us don't have. You talking to Cedric and Steve and these guys whose numbers you have is a little bit different, and they're a little bit different when they talk to you. And I think that is probably that combination, you know what I mean?
Celebrity. And that's
the celebrity
the difference
piece.
is the celebrity.
Not the superstar, but like almost the guy who's famous enough,
So I just wanted to address Jeanette. So Jeanette is saying because I'm like, what difference does it make or like some things just seem mean, you know what I mean? And it's almost like if whoever was on that sparked this whole conversation between Katt and Shannon Sharpe, he wanted to come on and clear it up or whatever, and it became this whole other thing. Yeah, I think some of the things were, mean. And I remember like when Katt Williams came for like Tiffany Haddish in some sort of a way, and it seemed mean. And like Jeanette is saying, if Steve Harvey, if he wore a piece, because I mean, who cares? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, who cares? Well, so I think some of it. I think he's a comedian.
Yes.
He is in show business, and he just, and this is. I'm sorry, I know if he sells out shows, but this is his moment as well. Like he's everywhere. He's everywhere. So I get that.
But
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I guess what I'm saying is,
and Shannon Sharpe did do a great job.
And I agree with you, Jeanette. I agree with you. And I think the hairpiece and Steve Harvey. The only problem, what it adds on to is Steve Harvey is on the air every day.
Okay.
And you're presenting, you're allegedly presenting your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what it kind of plays to. It's like I remember like a minister with a hairpiece who doesn't say,
let me tell you something. I go on TV every day. I got to put on makeup. You put on makeup.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing. A lot of men out here, dye their hair or whatever. It's their thing. It's like we're all held to society's standards of what's attractive or whatever. So this is,
if you don't say it though, it's gonna be weaponized. Dye.
Here's my gray, but I don't. I know. Here's my gray, but
but if it can be weaponized. That's what I'm saying. In this day and age,
it can only be weaponized if it's a weapon that you let hurt you. If Steve Harvey came on and he was like, yeah, this is a wig, and
that's what he should have done. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying.
And by not doing it, it's tied to your ego. So it's like, that's what I'm saying.
I think you got to get to a point. Look at Steve Harvey now in his 8 shows, and he's bald-headed, right? So he got to a point where and this is not even what I'm just saying. It's just like
Ray says, Shannon, let's stop saying black. No, Raymond, I'm saying that for a reason. Because the reason I'm saying black is because,
did you say black?
I said it earlier. I said the black Joe Rogan.
Oh.
I said it earlier because there was a time, again, I was speaking to, we've been streaming for years, right? And I've really been streaming for years. Babe came on. And so African Americans, especially over 40 years old, it was slower to come to the streaming platform. So that's my point. That's the only reason I'm using race is because
you said the black.
The big takeaway was I feel like that's what's happening. This conversation about Katt Williams, these are people who don't normally listen to shows, talk about shows, blah, 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 blah. That's all. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up when I say the black Joe Rogan. And then I gave you characteristics of why would Joe Rogan has one of the most popular podcasts. It's an interview podcast. So my reason I bring that up is he's the gold standard based on numbers. When you talk about interview podcasts. In fact, this interview with Katt is Joe Rogan's at the top. I think he's number 1. I think this interview is number 3 and rising. So that's the kind.
I don't even understand. What does Joe Rogan stand for?
He's it's
former
actor, wrestler. He has everybody on.
Person?
He has everybody on.
Okay.
He has everybody on from the earthers to the
All right.
And some say whatever. Okay.
Usually not nice.
No, definitely. Mm-hmm. No, he definitely came And again, but that is Katt Williams, and love him or hate him, that is who he is. Oh, wait a minute. I see you, Jose Alves.
No, he might be cussing us out. Can you translate that?
Scone, no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're not going to stay on long, baby.
No,
so,
we've already. Okay.
You got to ask Allison. If you have never, when we had a radio show on a station we won't mention, we had a feature called Ask Allison. It was very
let's take it back. When I was on Fox 5 is where it originated. I did Ask Allison for years on Fox 5.
That's right. You're right. Right. So here it is. Ask Allison. A question, a situation that people ask Allison about.
Thank you for being a friend. Now it's time to ask Allison. We love her point of view. She's a girl and a confidant. Now listen, everybody. This is the time we want to hear from you. So come on in and ask Allison. Here's the part of the show where you get to ask Allison.
All right. Go ahead, my man.
Is that Chris? Is that? Are you saying Chris Tucker? Who said that? Is that Chris Tucker singing that song?
No, it is not. All right, dear Allison.
Got my implants, y'all. Okay, I'm sorry.
Good, baby.
After all this time, I still
baby, your teeth are really white. Mine are kind of yellow. I need to get them whitened because I'm on TV now. All right. Okay. Cuz don't be trying it. Don't try it, Wallace.
Is my NDA over? If you have an NDA, can you say you have an NDA?
Yeah, it don't matter. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
What you saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, yeah, folks are leaving. I mean, come on, cousin, you can do the math.
Oh, you mean
yeah, Wallace.
Yeah,
Seymour,
you know what's up. Okay.
My play cousin.
Dear Allison.
From high school.
I'm happily married, but find myself daydreaming about my coworker.
Daydreaming, and I'm thinking of you.
He's smart, funny, and caring, and always smells so good. It just seems like he listens better than my husband and understands me. He's not aware I feel this way, and it's a good thing because he is married to my best friend.
What?
What should I do? I'm afraid when we're together as couples, my husband will notice.
What? You're having an emotional affair, my love. And weigh in. What's worse, an emotional affair or a physical sexual affair?
You said what's worse?
Yeah.
I imagine a sexual affair.
You think that's worse?
Emotional affairs in the mind.
No, that's you talk. Yeah, so this happened last night at the house. And it did. What happened? Well, I was tired.
You're really good at acting this out, by the way.
Yeah, that's an emotional affair where you're like emotionally invested in somebody that's not your spouse. I don't know. I don't know which one is worse.
That's more dangerous. I think people do that at work all the time.
I think people are quick to say, "Oh, it didn't mean anything. It was whatever, one night stand or it was a one-time thing." I think an emotional affair. Look, neither is good, but I'm just saying. Okay.
Well, what's your advice?
Yeah. Okay.
Marcel said they both make you go crazy.
They will both make you go crazy.
How do you know?
I'm just answering what I said. It. Yeah.
Defensive.
Man. I think that if you're attracted to somebody and you work with them, and let's be honest, we spend a lot of time at work. Like it feels like there's some weeks where I spend more time with people I work with than with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing this and blah, 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 whatever. Hey, Sarah, get yourself together, girl. Just get yourself together. This is your friend's husband, or they're married, right?
Or at least
they're married, and then you're at work or whatever. You're getting too attached. Pull yourself away. This does not end well in any scenario, right? You're gonna get your behind beat by this wife. Your husband's gonna leave you, and for what? And the grass might seem greener, but you need to look at your relationship. And if that's not working, that's a separate thing. You're looking for outside a bandage on an issue if it's an issue. But I believe, do you believe that there's only one soulmate? You only have one person you're supposed to be with for all your life? Do you believe that there is only one person for you in your life?
Only one person in this lifetime? I probably do.
You believe there's one person. Now, see, and I don't necessarily believe that.
Mhm.
Like, you're my
What?
person.
Wait a
No,
minute. Huh?
you're my
The
person.
hell?
But the relationships that came before you,
Could've
they
been.
didn't. It didn't. Clearly, it didn't work.
Okay,
It
babe.
wasn't
I'll be
long.
honest. Yeah, I believe it could be. It could be not just one.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I
Right.
lied.
Right. So this is the podcast where you being honest, babe. We got to be in this
You're my
honest
wife.
space. No, this is what we're
No.
talking about. And I do want to talk about relationship, family issues too. That needs to be a segment while we work this out. But so here's what I'm going to say. Bottom line is this. I think, yeah. I think that,
Setup.
I think that to answer this question, I think if you're being realistic, there are people that you might think that you are attracted to, or you're attracted to. Because you're not dead if you're married.
Yeah.
You might be attracted to those
Maybe
people.
it's attracted to people all the time and tells me how good they smell.
To be honest, no, I actually
Doesn't mean they're in some office space getting busy.
To be honest, I actually that's really not been my experience. I think since I waited to get married, I was married before, waited to get married a little bit later. I kind of worked all that out. But my thing is these are fake feelings. Is what she said.
No, it is.
It's fake feelings. It's like you think that this is so much greater or whatever.
Perhaps
but
you
it's
talk
fake
to her
feelings.
husband. Arlene, that is terrible advice. Arlene, that's the worst advice.
Well,
Arlene.
the power of tranquility.
No,
not.
I
want to know. I'm going to look you up and see if what
no,
you
that's
do.
my people. Oh,
okay,
no. And King?
Okay,
oh,
okay.
no. Arlene and King?
All
right. Heck no.
Yeah.
No, sir. Not everybody is that. No.
But let me tell you something.
No, let me tell you. In all fairness, Arlene and King are that kind of couple. They can keep it 100% real, but most people are not there.
Most people are not, but that's probably why this wife is looking outside of her marriage to see if she can be validated. She says she's attracted to a person that she works with.
Yeah, she's not feeling her.
And this guy is in their circle. The husband and the wife, they go out, they're couple friends or whatever. Yeah. So she's feeling more heard and seen by this person. So Arlene, guess what? Yeah. Maybe you don't say, hey, I'm feeling this way. Instead, you can say, this lady, I'm not feeling seen. I'm not feeling heard. And what can we do to change that? Because it's not worth it. He ain't going to be no better than your husband. And that's just the bottom line.
So, okay, babe.
And that's my answer.
Okay.
And I just want to say, because I see you, Soros, and we're about to get out of here. We're coming up on Founders Day for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, January 13th, 1913, and was the founding date. We're about to come up on that. And let me close with this. Happy Founders Day to all of my Soros out there. I'm a spring 1986 initiate at Hampton University, Gamma Iota chapter. Our daughter, Sydney, our oldest, is also a member of Delta Sigma Theta, and she too was made at Gamma Iota down in Hampton. And we're doing something very special. She has asked me to do something very special with her that I'd like to share with everybody. She's asked me to go to the Howard University Founders Day ceremony recognition or what have you. So midnight, she and I will be there with, I would imagine, hundreds of other members of Delta Sigma Theta to recognize, give honor and gratitude, and to the founders, the 22 founders of Delta Sigma Theta who founded that sorority right there on the campus of Howard University, the Mecca here in Washington, D.C. And it's so much more than just a sorority. This is a sisterhood of predominantly Black women, and there are other races too. There's no exclusion in any of our things, and that's just the way it is with Black organizations in these United States. We don't exclude. We were made out of exclusion. We don't exclude. And I believe that being on that campus and having that, basically all those women out there singing our songs and of one mind to help better all of not just Black society, but society, period. Deltas, we are a force, right? To do that, I cannot wait for that moment. And I'm so proud that our daughter, Sydney, has asked me to be involved in that. And I cannot wait. So I see you, Soros, who are saying Happy Founders Day. Happy Founders Day to you as well. The girls are out of the house. So I feel like, it's spring 77. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm excited to do it, and I feel like it's another connection. And now that the girls are out of the house, I'm making a commitment to going to sorority meetings and to get involved because of the public service that our sorority does. So yeah, happy Founders Day, Soros. I see you. I saw you. Yeah. All right. Oh, yes, we can. Let's talk about. Okay, so you said earlier that our friend. Now, see, I know him as Bootsy, right? Not Sally, but
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So
That's the Hero of the Day award.
yeah. So Sally Williams works with kids primarily in DC, but primarily in Northeast DC, out of the Deanwood broadcast. And correct me and give me the right words, Bootsy, because I always just say the Deanwood broadcast program, and been mentoring kids because it's not you. We know this. These heroes that work in the rec centers, in schools, in just wherever, Boys and Girls Club, after school. These people who stand out in the community, like Sally, they take on a different role for our kids, and our kids are in crisis. Let's be clear about it. We're talking about Katt Williams and all that kind of stuff, but I'm aware of it. Our kids are in crisis, and every day there are kids who are just trying to go to school, and they're just trying to make it better, and they're just trying to do the right thing. And what Sally and other people in these positions of mentorship and leadership, what they do is they become father figures, they become mother figures, they go above and beyond. And in this case, there's so many young people who go through this Deanwood broadcast program, and it's much more than learning a skill or hearing from people in the industry. This is a powerful program. These kids are getting full rides to college. These kids are being in an environment, and this part to me is key. They're being in an environment with other young people. They're not going to be sort of looked over by teachers who were just there, and God bless all of the teachers. But they're not going to be looked over by teachers. They're not going to be marginalized by other students who maybe just don't have the same sort of drive, right? And one of these young people out of this program wanted to go to Hampton University. Now, this is my alma mater, and if you know anything about me, you know I ride for Hampton. I am always repping Hampton University, right? And she wanted to go. There were a couple of little things. She was at a different school, offered her a full ride because this girl is so bright.
Offered her Georgetown. She said no. I'm
so
good.
Bright. Wanted to go to Hampton, right? So this next semester, and I don't want to say her name because of privacy stuff and all that, but this semester she's at Hampton. And, for all the people who don't understand the power of HBCUs and the power of connectivity, being seen and walking around and seeing buildings that are named after people, Black people, period. Just call it what it is. If you don't understand it, then I cannot help you. We used to fight a lot about your man Deion Sanders when he left Jackson State to go to Colorado because it was more than just a coaching thing for me. But already, I just know she is thriving. She's down there in the honors dorm. She's got a little dorm set up, and it's people like, and I know Sally doesn't want me to do this, but it's people like Sally Williams, whom we know affectionately as Bootsy, that helped to make that happen. And I guarantee you that girl will make an impact on this world,
yes.
Right? And so many other students that come through the Deanwood and all of the rec centers and all of the after school programs and all the good aunties, mommies, daddies, grandparents who pour into our kids because our kids can be saved. They can be saved. And I just wish that everybody could be. I'm not sure what's going on right now.
All right, that's the end of the show. Thanks.
I'm not sure what's going on right now, but yeah, thank you. And that's your love for Hampton and all of these institutions that see our kids and uplift our kids. So yeah.
And as we wrap things up,
I love you.
Power of Tranquility is actually, again, Arlene and King are counselors, and great counselors at that. And so, Arlene, I just want you to know.
That's it, Arlene. Did I get that?
Yes.
Okay, I
And
can be an
Arlene-
apprentice. That's what I said. Tell them you
Arlene is
wanna
a professional, and if you guys want some advice about your relationship, King and Arlene are who you need to talk to.
Shout out to
And of
all,
course,
and shout out to all the students going back. All the students going back to school, all this after winter break and all that good stuff too, like our 2 kids on the weekend.
and to the young lady whose name we're not going to mention, shout again, Bootsy Vegas. Talk about God is good. This journey that's taken her from college to college not only ends at Hampton, but she was notified that financially she's good.
Yeah,
So
and
financially
it
taken care of.
to, and again, not putting her stuff out there, but it
Cousin
speaks
Harold,
to,
love you too, Harold.
it speaks to so much that that this young lady has had to overcome, and our kids are facing mountains of challenges that I never even had to think about.
Amen.
I think the hardest thing that I've had to go through is the death of my parents. But damn it, I was 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? It's never easy. But when you lose a parent really young, or you don't have a parent in your life, you're just trying to get their attention, or you're just trying to get that validation and love. And maybe you don't get it, but you succeed anyway, or maybe in spite of it, because it makes your story better. We see you. We see you.
All right, so next week, same bat time, same bat station. Anything?
No, so here's the things we're going to talk about. 2024. I think we need to talk about little family things or family hacks. I want to get into some hidden history, like Black Pearl Beach? I wrote it down. And some figures you might not know. We're going to get into a little Ask Allison, maybe a little difference, something that's a difference of opinion, but we're trying to work out this podcast thing. So if you have any suggestions on topics or things that you want us to talk about, then you can let us know in the comments, and we will get to it, because we need a format. That's our problem. And a better theme song.
What was the thing we used to do the thing?
Yeah, agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
And we need,
Lord, that was a real art. That's how we used to argue.
And
not so anymore.
And we need a better theme song. Thankfully, you all couldn't hear the audio.
Not the Bootsy theme song, the theme song.
The theme song that you came in on with our podcast.
Yes.
Anyway, we always talk too long. We got to do this for a half an hour. How long is our podcast going to be? 20.
Hey, it doesn't matter, man. It's fine. Okay. All right. That's enough. Good night, sweet prince. Well, if you didn't hear the theme song, here.